Well.
3, 2.
Sandman Leafus. There you go, well. That's super cool. The screen juddering isn't looking too good on the Oculus Rift. It's very jarring, but bloody hell. Wow. Oh my god, this looks crazy! Okay, I'm very excited for phase 2 of this fight. I have no idea how I'm going to deal with it, but we'll give it a go. Okay. So, we need to avoid her fist slam. What else has she got? She's got the AoE that she does down. She's got the tail lance. She has this wave of hand evil gold magic that she does. Let's dodge that. Okay, what's she doing now? Is that the interrupt? Yes, it is. So when she leans her head back, bollocks. Okay, need to avoid that hand slam. Okay, nice work. Hopefully we aren't too on low on health there. Got to dodge there. So she's doing her ability where everybody needs to get on the gold piles. Okay, so I'm on the gold piles now. Hopefully I will not die. This would be a terrible time for it to bug out. I wonder what percent she's on. So I'm guessing she's probably on about 70 to 60% now. Okay, there's a slam to the left side. I've got to avoid that by going right. This is actually a fair bit more manageable than I thought. I thought it was going to be a bit more difficult, but we seem to be doing very, very well so far. Haven't got hit by much. That's probably why it's so manageable. Okay. Bad golden hand ability. Gotta dodge that. Guys, literally, this is the most incredible experience, being able to fight Leafus with the Oculus Rift on. Like, ever since I heard about the adaptation, this was like my #1 thing to do. And there she is, dead. Next time I might do hard mode, because that felt a bit too easy, but damn, look at her. Her rotten dragon carcass, made of gold, right in my face. Oh wow, that does look ridiculously epic. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rift with the Oculus Rift and found it somewhat entertaining. I loved it. It was brilliant. What I'm really looking forward to the most is Greenscale and Achilles on hopefully the next 2 episodes. So if you guys enjoyed the video, stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to come. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Into the Rift with MMORPG.com and SOACgaming.com. I am your host Kiwi and I am joined by Seatin and Scionstorm. Hello Seatin.
Hello Kiwi, thank you. Pleasure to be back here as per usual.
That Oculus Rift looks awesome. We're going to get into that a little bit more later. And hello Scionstorm.
Hello, Kiwi, and hello to everybody in the stream watching, and I'm happy to be here.
Me too. It's an exciting day because we also have a special guest with us. Thank you for taking the time out on the first day of football. Thank you for joining us, Mr. BCtrainers. How you doing, BC?
I'm doing quite well.
Nice. BC is also known as Ordustum in game by some people and has been around for a very long time. He's coming on here to share about testing with us, and all of us are testing games, but BC's been testing Rift since its very, very, very beginning, so it was great that he could take time out to come and join us. But do you want to share a little bit with everybody about who you are, BC?
Sure. I'm Brett C., BCtrainers. Essentially, over the past few years, I've been playing games from Try and Realm, especially Rift, maybe a little bit too much. For the most part, a lot of the bugs that you see on PTS usually don't make it to live because I find them or reduce them, report them, make sure they don't go live, and I let QA try on deal with the rest. For the most part, with the Rift, I raid in Trinity, and top tier rating guild that kills internet dragons, if I call it that.
And when would have been your very first test with Rift? Like, what made you get into this game, and how did that all start for you?
It started back in 2010 when a friend of mine from a previous game company invited me over to Tryon to give Rift a try. And first testing was just general open world testing, questing, and just getting an idea of how the game world works. And that's pretty much it for the beginnings of it. The first zone that was really tested for rating was Green Skull's Blight. And that was with people, hodgepodge people from Trinity, some from Addiction, some from my original somewhat casual field. And I just found out little bugs here and there. It was fun seeing Infiltrator Dolan and Duke Leatrice with all the little bugs and features they had, especially the ones wisp spawning everywhere.
Right. And what about, like, you're doing a lot with PvE? As you mentioned, you're in Trinity and you're in amongst all the content at its hardcorest. That's not even a word, but we'll make it one today. But you also do PvP, don't you?
I do from time to time. It's not too common, but I do. Either Conquest or in Warfront. Some people are probably going to say Conquest is a PvP, but yeah, it still is.
Right. And what about... Oh, sorry, mate. What were we going to say?
Well, for the most part, too, is running premades and Conquest. Sometimes you get really good groups, and other times you get stacked between the premades. And the fun portion is a Conquest is that it takes a good 20 people that are organized, know what they're doing, to go against other 20 people that are decently organized. And you don't get that too common in Conquest sometimes because it's sometimes getting people stacked. But for the most part, when it does happen, it ends up being a pretty good little match.
Right, it does. And what about your off-game things? You've been part of like fan site stuff and that as well from the beginning?
Yeah. Back in 2010, the original website for Rift technically was Talarapedia. It was a wiki site alongside and coupled with Talara Central. That site then spun off Rift IRC. And Rift IRC is where I got it into the Rift app. And Rift IRC was pretty much a live chat network for Rift, and it averaged a few hundred or 200 people at any given time. Around 2011, 2012 is when I made the Rift subreddit. And by that time, Rift IRC, since Rift was going live and its in-game chat wasn't going to be IRC-based by a long shot, and no one really bothered to go to the Rift IRC much anymore. So around that time is when I went ahead and turned off Rift IRC and went ahead and started to focus on the Riftreddit.
Now, for those that don't know, that might be seeing this for the first time, Riftreddit is an awesome place, especially for newcomers to the game. There's a lot of people that like to answer your questions, and the moderators on there, including BC, like to update information and give a chance for people to ask questions or answer them. So it's a really good place to stop and find out all the up-to-date info. It's also great for all the other fan sites and people that are proactive in the community. Don't necessarily have to be a fan site, but your YouTubers and stuff like that too, they'll fly by there and drop off their info and try and help people out. So Rift subreddit is very much needed and well appreciated in the community. And recently there was a try-on trip that I know Seatin went to, and we were touched on that a little bit last week, but you went there as well. Is that right? And how was it for you?
Yeah, that's right. And for the most part, at Tryon Worlds, we had how many computers do we have there, Seatin? At the Tryon place, we're playing Warfront nonstop and doing the new dungeon.
I think we had about 15. I mean, we maybe a bit more than that. Maybe about 18. I mean, you, me, Will, Ilex, and Baramos were on the back row, and we also had that woman from, I believe it was IGN, who Baramos spoke to. So there were quite a few computers.
I mean, that's the one who Baramos flirted with half the time.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him, to be honest.
That's awesome. So we wanted to touch on testing a little bit because a lot of people are wanting to get into Alpha 3.0, and we wanted to, and people keep asking along the way for all of us, how do they get into testing? What are they doing? So I thought I'd open it up to all of us to share some input into how people might go around and go about getting into testing. We'll see a lot of influx of keys coming out this week from a lot of different people. But BC, just to touch on, what's the difference between testing as it back in the day to now? Is there a huge difference? Any difference?
The testing back in 2010, 2011, before Rift went live, was that back then, there's a lot of collision issues where your game client would fall through the world at random, or there's issues where certain quests would just flat out stop working. The same thing happened in Rift Storm Legion and Rift Nightmare Tide, but it's not to the extent of what it was back in the day. It's a lot more stable. Your game client doesn't crash every single time you turn around, so that's a really nice little bonus. Otherwise, usually during alpha testing and sometimes beta testing, the client can be very unstable and it just crashes over and over. Thankfully, those issues went away when Rift went live.
That is good to hear. And Seatin, you're in 2 games currently, or have been. I was just wondering.
I do like games.
You do. We all do. I was wondering if there was any differences as far as testing goes between Rift and WildStar for you.
I think Rift is always it's been much more of a hands-on approach to testing. I mean, WildStar initially was very hands-on, but then, like, as you got closer to launch, like, the player-dev relationship really dwindled. Whereas Rift, like, whatever you do, you always have a ton of devs, like, and we get, like, a write-up of feedback on that. So they're always very proactive to get, like, just written stuff and for you to go away and, like, provide them with, like, a few pages of feedback based on the experience that you have. Whereas other developers, you know, will just be like, you'll do something and say, oh, this is awesome, and they'll be like, great, this goes live. Whereas the guys from Rift will want you to, like, think about it and say, maybe, why isn't this so awesome, or why will some players hate it, or what could be made better? So I think they have much more of a critical and well-rounded approach to their game, which I really, really like. You know, if they didn't have that, it would probably make them a bit too cocky, and that's really what made WildStar flop. You know, everyone was just like, this game is awesome, and then it got to live, and it wasn't so awesome.
It's a shame to hear. Good for Rift, but though I'm glad to hear. And Storm, what about you? You play 1,000,001 games. How's the testing been for you?
Well, I first started testing like back in 2009, and the very first game that I actually was an actual tester in, and not just playing in beta testing, because there's a total difference. Sometimes you can get in and be a tester and you're just playing, but sometimes you get into being a tester and you're actually testing. So back then, I started to go through a little bit of, just go through the motions and try to understand how it is to be a proper tester. And one of the major things that I had a problem with is I used to find bugs but couldn't recreate them. So what I learned over time is, you know what, I need to start recording everything. And back then, my computer couldn't really handle that. So as I got, more money and more time and learned more about what type of computers I need, I actually put a second hard drive into my back computer. Then, though, I terabytes, and now whenever I test a game, and everything, try to understand how it is to be a proper tester. So pretty much, and one of the major things I had, like the minute I see a bug, I got it already. So I don't have to go back and say, okay, let me do that again. It's right there, and I can just go and say, okay, here's the snippet right here. Here's the video. Here's what happened. And I can write it out too, but most of the time, you can pretty much, see what's going on. And that's pretty much how I go.
And Twitch or live streaming per se would probably help a lot with that now that it's here, and when we're out and about doing stuff and you're live streaming, that's come in handy, I've noticed.
Yeah, definitely. I can just go about, some devs actually, will actually come along with you in games. And I've never actually had Treon do it, but I actually have had, other games come on and do it, and actually had Treon devs just basically come and tell me, okay, why you feel like this. Like with one of my builds, I had a Treon dev actually come and say, well, why do you feel this certain way about this build? And a little bit after that, it was pretty good.
Now, my first testing was Oldwire content in WoW when they brought out tanks. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but when the Oldwire content came out, it was the first time something like a vehicle was put into WoW as far as raid content went. So that was my first time testing. But as far as Rift goes, was closed beta, the last closed beta. Yeah. And then that's when I started testing in Rift. But more dimension stuff came along, and 2.3 was probably when I was on there every day and started testing a lot of different things. So dimension testing has been big in the past, more so. I mean, a lot of the problems that we have now in dimensions may have existed or have been existing along the way and either gotten worse or better. So there's not so much of that needed anymore, but it is nice to always see the new stuff. So I always look forward to seeing you guys up on the PTS and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. But if you guys could share one piece of information or any information with people that want to get into testing, what would you share with them? And I'd start with you, BC.
Sure. The one thing that comes to my mind now is be precise and detailed in every report you make. Simple as that. If you just say this game sucks, it doesn't really help. You need to say what sucks about it, what's not so great, what is great, of a certain area. You just can't say just bad. You just have to be detailed, precise, and to the point of what the issue is you have. And when you make those types of good reports, it helps out developers, helps out players in the future that may come across the same thing that you did.
Right. And would they put this information on forums, on the PTS forums would be the best place? Just at this point in time in Rift?
I believe so, off the top of my head.
Nice. And what about you, Seatin? Do you have any advice for people that want to get into testing?
Well, my sort of main bit of advice is, like, so many people test, like maybe on the PTS and stuff, but they don't actually provide written feedback. Now, the way the game development works is it is a team effort, so they do need that written feedback to like bring to meetings and say, look, this player thought this was really bad, what can we do to improve it? Whereas if you just verbally say something to one of the devs in game, then they don't really have a written record of that. And that goes back to BC's point about be clear on stuff, what you think would be a decent improvement, and don't say this sucks, explain why it sucks. And just, be clear about stuff. And in regards to where to send stuff, it depends on what the developers have requested and what's sort of going on at the moment. Like, sometimes they want you to send it to a certain email address or maybe PM somebody on the forums. And sometimes it may be something that's better suited to a post in the PDS section. So you're opening it for, like, public discussion.
Nice one. And can you add anything else to that, Storm?
Right now, could you give me 1 second? I'm trying to fix my mic because they're saying that there's something wrong with my mic. So
Alrighty, we can come back to it after. And I'm just going to add to the guys. I mean, it's it on the nail. It's good to be objective. Like, you can be positive, you can be negative, but the best thing is objectivity and having that information to back it up. I mean, there's a lot of negative on forums, and that goes across any game. So it's always good for people to have the reasons why. So they can't add more to that. But BC needs to head out very shortly, and actually now. So we're going to do some draws soon for 3.0 alpha keys. Not going to do them right now because I'm actually going to log into my live stream and do them so everybody sees them. But he handed out keys today on subreddit. He put out 10 keys. Thanks for doing that, BC. And is there anything else you want to let people know about as far as subreddit goes or anything like that before you head out?
If people have questions, always welcome to ask on the subreddit. There's new people coming into the subreddit every day asking, going from pugging raids to dungeons to progression, leveling. That's pretty much the whole 9 yards of what they want to learn from. And I've been slowly in the process working on an FAQ for the site, but with everything else going on recently, I haven't had much time to get too much progress on it.
Well, good luck with that. Hopefully that gets out for 3.0 to help all the new players and returning players that are no doubt going to be flooding for and looking for information. Cheers for everything you do, BC. Really appreciate it, and thanks for taking time out today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Rift news. We are moving on to the Rift news. It's been a big couple of weeks, and the first one was all about packs. And all the announcements made then. Trove closed beta happens on September the 25th. Arcade was like huge with open beta that's currently in progress. Head start on October the 12th, going live on October the 16th. Defiance has some great news coming out really soon too. I hope to get more information on that as it gets closer. And Rift 3.0 on October the 8th. Seatin, what do you think about that date?
What do I think about that date? Now, I have two completely separate views on the release date. Now, the part of me that's kind of like positive about Triumph wants to go, yeah, they're pushing it out, I can't wait for the expansion, I believe that they can do it before that date and it's going to be good. The other part of me goes, why the fuck did they do this date? To me, the date makes no sense. It's 3 weeks after the launch of Arcade, a massive title which is essentially a very, very similar game. They don't have an open beta for Rift 3.0. It's like a month and a day from today before the launch. They don't have anything ready for press. So, I don't think it's going to be a solid expansion as everyone would like it to be. Now that is just my pure cynical opinion. I really, really hope they prove me wrong with that. Like, I want them to prove me wrong so badly, but the time frame that they have to make it perfect is too little in my opinion. I just don't see them not coming out with a few like game-breaking bugs or mechanics. So that is my pure opinion on it. I think they're rushing it out too soon, and I'd rather them wait till after the release of Warlords of Draenor, do like another couple of months, and then release it. I don't see the need for rushing out. They've got Arcade. Financially speaking, they could milk the shit out of that, and then have Rift come out when everybody's bored of Arcade, not 3 weeks after, and then just milk the shit out of everybody on Rift. So from every perspective, I do not see why that they just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I'll let somebody else talk about the date now. I could go on for hours about how shitty I think it is.
That would be you, Storm.
Well, honestly, I'm excited, but like Seaton says, that's not a lot of time, and it's not a lot of time for mass testing. Now we're just like now putting out keys now to everybody, so like you need more time than that, to be honest with you. And my time, like I've been doing this for a while now and testing and playing various different games, and you just need a lot more time than that. So I have a problem with that. And I kind of have a problem like with what Seaton said, how close the games are. And it's within the same company. It's like they're going to be kind of taking away from each other. They should be at least 90 days apart, to be honest with you. I know that's going to be a lot, and people may disagree with that, but it needs to be a break in between those. I'm excited. I want it to be like, oh my God, like, this is going to be awesome. But, I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm just rooting for them that it's going to all work out. Maybe they know something we don't.
Just to butt in as well, like one of the things about the Rift expansion is they are essentially going to go back to that bare bones of content. So you have one 10-man raid, just a handful, I think there's 6 or 7 dungeons, and one 20-man raid. Where at the moment there is 99% of the population that haven't even really experienced tier 3 raiding yet. There is so much to do for a new player that comes into Rift, and I don't think, apart from a group of about sort of maybe 40 to 60 people, there are people saying, oh, I have nothing to do, I've cleared all of the content, and still nobody has got Conqueror on any of the tier 3 raids. So personally, it doesn't make sense to me why they're pushing the expansion. But anyway, back to you, Kiwi. I will let you talk about more stuff.
No, it's a great point of view. I was great. Like, for instance, just the packs, I really appreciated what they did to announce all of these things. I thought that was pretty awesome, going there and holding a party instead of the phenomenal amounts it must cost to be able to show stuff at PAX. But the other thing was, it was just exciting for all games. Like, I just sat there and as the announcements were made, I was listening to an audio live and I was like, are you kidding me? It was like an overdose of awesome. As far as like Rift 3.0 October 8th, as a re-roll, I'm itching for it to come out. Like you guys, I hope it's coming out in a way that will be beneficial to everybody that's in Rift. But I want it. I want it now. I want all of it. Arcade, Defiance, Trove, Rift, all of it at once. Bring it at me.
I certainly don't want it all at once. I
Yeah,
want to go
all at
very
once.
hardcore on all of the games, and I
Uh-huh.
need time to do that.
Yeah.
And if
Right.
I got them all at once, I'd probably die. So, no, not all at once. As Simon
Yeah.
said, we
It's
need
gonna be
gaps.
Yeah, it's gonna pretty much be a nightmare because you're gonna just be getting into the
See?
swing of things,
Isn't that
and
appropriate then?
yeah, I guess it is gonna be a nightmare tide because right when you're in your swing with Rift and you're getting a grasp on 3.0, then Arcade is gonna come knocking at your door, and you're gonna be like, "Oh damn, what do I do now?" Like I got both of them, and there's only but so much hours in a day. So hey, we'll see.
Right. And just so you guys know, I'm going to start setting up for the first draw. I'm going to be logging onto my live stream and rolling for the first draw for a 3.0 alpha key. Before I do that, just be aware that it is still under NDA. So anybody that wins these keys or has any keys at this point in time, you cannot share content with people until Tryon lifts that. So I'm going to get prepared for that. And I'm going to open the discussion up now to the limited editions that came out last week while I do that. And I'll let you start, Storm. Have you taken a look at the limited editions?
Yes, and I like them. They're not overbearing yet. I don't know if they're gonna actually add anything to them because certain companies. I'm not saying that it's Tryon that makes things, and it's like $400 and it's like $40 worth of content basically, like actually $40 worth of game, and then the rest of it is kind of like swag that you probably could have got like at a convention. But I like the limited edition, so they get my thumbs up. I'll pass that on.
Okay, yeah. So I have a very I don't know. I've been asked a lot about the sort of pay to win in Rift. So what essentially the collector's editions have done is made the game pay to win for a month. If you are an oil baron, you can come into the game, buy tier 2 gear, and then buy this new collector's edition several times, and upgrade that gear and have better gear than anybody else in the game. And the pay to win is only going to persist for a month apparently. Most of the content has been cleared, and I am not in the competitive scene, so personally, like, I generally do not care about this. If somebody chooses to do that, they're going to be throwing a lot of money at the game. So, I'm totally all for that. If people want to pay to feel good in the last month, then go for it. The amount they'll have to pay is pretty ridiculous, and will fund, like, at least a month's worth of a dev for a month. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I can definitely understand why the top players are really peeved off about this. The people who are sort of like going for Conqueror, Bindings of Blood, because essentially all the content hasn't been cleared in that regard. There is still a bit of a race going on up there. Granted, like, nobody arguably really cares about the race, or a very, very small amount of people do. I still think it's a bit of a dodgy line to cross, and I think they could have done the collector's edition. Sorry, guys, I don't know if you can hear all the fireworks going off in the back.
What I was going to say, what is that?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's what is it? Is it September and people are doing fireworks? Nah, I can't be dealing with that. But anyway, I'll stop talking. Yeah, so I think I don't see any reason why they kind of added in this pay to win method, mainly to milk a few individuals. But yeah, I'll pass that back over to you, Kiwi, while I mute my microphone.
I'm enjoying it. I love fireworks. I've only got 2 words to say: shark mount. That's it. I love it. I love it a lot, and I'm gonna turn on my stream in a minute so people can see the draws that I'm about to do, and you'll see the shark mount if you haven't seen it yet. But it's the main reason I wanted it. That shark mount is super sexy. I love it. But the other things is there other items that are in it that you guys really like we talked about the void source accelerators, which is what Seatin was referring to, but there's also 2 more equipment slots coming, which is exciting, which is earrings. And then there's the dream orbs, kind of came out noticeably when that did, of the upgrades that are coming for dream orbs. I don't know if either of you have any comments about the dream orbs or the 2 more equipment slots.
Well, the 2 more equipment slots is always nice because that brings more build ideas that comes into play, and you can kind of min and max. And I know other people like the min and max, so that's pretty good. And the Dream Orbs, I haven't actually looked into that much yet, so I guess Seatin would be better for that. But I have actually paid attention to the new equipment slots. That's always good for me because I like to make builds, so that's right up my alley.
As far as
Right.
I'm aware, the Dream On provided by the Collector's Edition actually isn't the best in slot one. It's a lesser one that has multiple uses. Well, it has infinite use. So it's basically like an item that you just chuck on leveling gear that you don't want to spend that money to put a decent Dream Orb on it. So yeah, personally, I don't have any problem with it. That's what I understand from sort of reading the description. So to me, the multiple use crappy Dream Orb is totally fine. I'm all for that. That does sound like quite a good perk. Nothing that's terribly game breaking, just a nice quality of life feature that saves you a bit of cash. In regards to the two new equipment slots and the plane of water attunement, I can totally understand the need for earrings, well, the addition of earrings. I just hope they're itemized well and not just a stat stick, because it seems like when they add a new equipment slot, it just wants to be a stat stick. Like, for example, seals that they added in Storm Legion. Those essentially just have, like, I don't know, 110 endurance on and do nothing particularly interesting. So I feel like earrings are going to be a bit like that. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. You can get the slots in game. I don't think they're really needed though, and I think from like a new player's perspective, they do add as a bit of a deterrent, unless they make it very clear. Like if I logged onto the game, opened my character menu, and then saw I couldn't equip certain pieces of gear unless I paid. Unless they make it very clear from that screen that you can earn it in game, people are just going to go, oh, fuck it, it's pay to win, and I'm going to have to pay to be competitive. So, yeah, I don't like that. And also, I really don't like the plane of water attunement on some items. That just seems really, really stupid. And as a massive deterrent for when people get to level 60 plus. Unless, of course, they do make it very clear that you can, like, buy it in game via doing expert dungeons or something. They really need to reinforce that even, it's pay for convenience, not you pay or you don't get this certain stat upgrade or can use these items. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on it.
What that
Nice.
might be is that might be a time sink to kind of slow us down, because devs kind of do that sometimes when they want to put gaps in between content and keep you from steamrolling right into like fresh 60 and, oh, look at me, I'm 60, let me go steamroll right into raiding. It may be what that's for. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see.
And I am trying to fiddle. Sorry if my typing is coming through. I'm trying to turn off the hosting on my channel so I can get these roles happening for the alpha keys given away. Bass, if you're in the channel, if you could type in how I turn it off. The /host isn't working, so I can turn off my live stream. And then we can get onto that, because I know people are itching to get in. We had 30 people enter our contest. Thank you for all the awesome replies. Because of that, we got extra keys. So there's 3 keys going out today. And on top of that, we've been donated another key from Mr. Spates Boots, whose YouTube channel is awesome for PvPers. He's donated another key. So we have 4 keys going out today. Thank you, Space Boots. I will be linking his channel and all the giveaways that are happening for 3.0 keys underneath the video. That will be linked there. So thank you again, Space Boots, and for the extra keys from Oko and Tryon. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But yeah, I'm going to go and try and figure that out, and this is a good time for us to talk about Oculus Rift. And I think Rift is the first MMO to do this, right?
That'd be Phil Seaton.
Pretty sure it is.
Yes, sorry, I was too busy trying to quiet the noise of the fireworks in the background, because they're just going mental at the moment. But yes, Rift is the first MMORPG to add Oculus Rift support. It's in a very experimental stage, so you can only really play it at a good level if you don't use the UI because they haven't made a compatible user interface or UI for the Oculus Rift. So basically, you need to know how to do your rotation off the top of your head if you want to kill stuff, which luckily I can do. So I've released a couple of videos sort of on Rift on the Oculus Rift, and it's been quite amazing. Just the response I've had. I mean, I've been knocking about sort of the Oculus subreddit and got a lot of the sort of Oculus fans into the game, very excited about the game and sort of the development of the Oculus Rift. I think Dev Pifos is doing an awesome job. I'd really like to see them invest a bit of money, maybe hire a developer or two to add full-time support for it, because literally it
Picos is
could
all
just
they
bring.
need.
I know, but he also has like main responsibilities on the game, so he is just
No,
doing all of this in his free time.
he can do
So
it
I
all.
maybe he could do it. I believe in him, but I want to see stuff sped up and a bigger project put on it because the market for the Rift, the Oculus Rift, is just huge at the moment. There are so many people interested in it, and if you get a free-to-play online game, sort of that's really well made that can support it, that will bring tons of people to the game, and I think it will really benefit them financially as a whole. So I see it as quite a worthwhile investment. Obviously, I don't know too much about statistics and when it's going to be released, etc. But I really like it. It's really fun to play. It's not for the competitive people, but at the end of the day, it is just pure enjoyment on kind of like a solo and exploring experience, which at the end of the day, fun is what video games are all about. So yeah, definitely wins on that department.
Right. I'm looking. I would love to see what it's like to build with it, and then to actually go through dimensions and see what they're like using a Oculus Rift. I think that would be amazing. Might see a lot of mistakes using it. I don't know, but I would like to really see what that's like from a builder's perspective. But I'm going to roll the first one while we're here. My channel is up if anybody wants to see what numbers are coming out, but I will highlight it just so there's no ifs or buts on forums, which happens. And the first roll for the first 3.0 alpha key, the person doesn't have to be here. So if they're not here, I'm going to give it to them, and then we'll do some more along the way. Oh, let me do that again. There's 30. God, I'm so good at this. Number 4. So the person that wins the first key is Geo Penguin. Number 4 from our list. Thank you once again for all the answers that were given. So Geo Penguin's won the first one. He doesn't have to be here for this one, but the next keys that are given away, you have to be.
Congrats to him. Hope he gets it.
Congrats to him.
Grats.
Now I have a question for Seatin. How is the orientation for Oculus Rift? Like, how do you feel after you play it and during it?
Okay, so surprisingly, right, I really didn't feel ill while playing it. Now there have been a lot of games, especially like the Sightline ones, and also a few racing ones that I've played on the Oculus Rift. And after I've played the games, like literally I played them for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I feel so ill. But I can play Rift for several hours, even though you're not really supposed to play for more than I believe it's about 15 minutes at a time. I can play for several hours with the headset on, just exploring, and I don't really feel ill. I don't feel fatigued. I don't feel sick at all. So it doesn't really have that much of an effect on me. I think it's really good. You know, I'm very impressed with the very early version that we've got. I mean, the main thing that will let the feature down is, well, one, the MMO compatibility with the user interface, and two, the sort of frame rate the Rift has. You know, it needs to be ideally much higher because at the moment the Oculus Rift only really works well in sort of like solo or duo scenarios. Basically, under 5 people it'll run fairly decently, but over that then it'll start lagging, and you do need a very powerful machine to run it on. So it's got its pros and cons.
I would like to try it with PvP, to be honest. That would be interesting.
I think my eyes would cross a lot running around that quickly and trying to take it all in.
Yeah, but, you know, it might be fun. You can get
I,
the
I,
sense of actually earning a kill, literally.
I think it would be fun with PvP. I mean, the only concern at the moment for me doing like a PvP video is that there will be like, if it's a Warfront in Rift, there's going to be at least like 20 people. I'm not going to be able to see anybody's health bars or cast bars because I have to play without the UI off. And if I did turn it on, then the screen will be like super cluttered. So if they put a bit of time making Oculus friendly UI, then I think PvP might be a fun experience. But then again, you know, they do need to improve the frame rate in UI before we can do that at decent level.
I'm struggling with my frame rate right now on my live stream because I have 2 live streams up, as well as Skype and everything else. But I am rolling the second winner of the 3.0 alpha key. They need to be in the chat, and if they don't respond, I will be rolling again. But the second winner is Shefu, number 17, Shefu. Grats, if you're in the channel, please let us know. I'm going to check my messages and all that in case your name is different on Twitch chat. Shefu, SSHEFU.
Congratulations.
Multitasking, Kiwi, multitasking. So as we touched on before, there are a ton of 3.0 beta keys going out over the next few days. I've already started rolling, and I'm kind of pleased that we've touched on it not being enough time and needing to get more people, and I'm kind of pleased to go in the route of supporting people that are proactive in the community and out there doing videos or streams or have sites and stuff. You guys are in alpha, and it'll be nice to see more people in there because I know there's been some other guys that have been in there for a while, so they're all taking a little bit of a break right now. But do you have any opinions on the differences of people getting into 3.0?
Well, like I told you before, like probably like 20 minutes ago, yeah, I would like to see more people in, because more people in would bring bigger bugs to come out. Because we're all running around right now who are actually in, but sometimes you don't really see bad things until you have more eyes looking at it, because sometimes we may not be looking at something in the right light, and maybe this one person just comes in and finds a bug that makes them fall through the map, and maybe we just missed it, or maybe a dev missed it. But you know, more eyes actually helping out with the testing process is always better. That's why I was a little bit concerned with the time, because you need a lot more time than that. But everybody who's coming in right now, get your pen and paper out, get your mics out, get your videos out, start recording. When you find a bug, slam them with it. That's the best thing you can do for Treon right now. They're not going to be mad at you. I'm pretty sure if you find a bug that a dev has never seen before in his life, he'll be happy, to be honest with you. So that's just my take on it.
Just going on what Science said, if you do get into 3.0 and make videos, don't make them public on YouTube, because they will pretty much just insta-ban you for the game.
Oh,
make
yeah, don't
them
do that.
private and send it to them privately. So, yeah, you really don't want that to happen. Just make sure, because they do have, like, they're asking everybody not to share. So you want to respect that, or they will come down with their mighty hammer.
Right. And it doesn't look like Shifu has got back to us, so I'm rolling again. Already have number 7, and that is Kamulans. If Kamulans is in chat, live stream chat, let us know. Or maybe I should ask who's actually in the chat from this competition. That might narrow it down a little bit. So that could be the way to go as well. I'm linking it on my Twitch channel, because I can't link things on MMORPG.com's channel. But maybe that's probably the fastest way. If you can let me know if you entered this contest and you're in here, then I'll narrow this down. Save me trying to multitask and fail. See, someone tried to link something and got smacked by Moobot. So last Friday's Trion's live stream was started with 3.0. We had Mike D on there, and we had Dagler, and they shared a lot of the news, or what's been coming out, and spoke about a lot of things. This Friday is also Dimensions, Minions, and Crafting. So Gingers has got a post up on forums about that. Out of those subjects, guys, what are you we've already touched on minions. Everyone's looking forward to minions, but with the amount of information now, are you guys looking forward to the crafting minions or any of those aspects as well?
Let Seatin take this one first.
Okay, that's cool. I'm really looking forward to Minions. I know you're probably gonna hate me this for saying this, Kiwi. I've never really been a dimension person. It's just something I can't get into. I'm very impatient and I can't like build these amazing things. And then look on the forums and people have created like mini utopia, and I'm like, damn, my kind of like shed in a field isn't doing very well. So yeah, I'm not very good at dimensions and never have taken a particular interest in building. I'm all about destroying stuff and collecting stuff, which is why I'm really looking forward to the minion system. I literally cannot wait. It seems like I want to know more about it. I want to know if it's like a collectible trading card thing, how the ins and outs of it work, because like minions are one of the things that not really anybody knows about at the moment. Pretty in regards to 3.0, there's pretty solid knowledge, maybe behind the curtain, also, you know, in front of the curtain about every other aspect of Rift 3.0, but minions are just one thing that's remained a bit of a mystery in regards to how they actually work and function in a bit more detail, so I cannot wait to find out more about that. So yeah, can't wait, and it also means if it's going to be on the live stream next Friday, it'll probably be on the PTS next week, so I look forward to that.
Right. I think the following week is actually PvP as well. So it's nice they're kind of rolling out all the information week after week, since it is pretty close. So that's going to be good to look forward to as well. But I think you mentioned it, so I'm not going to 100% that one. So, but in the next couple of weeks will definitely be PvP. So I re-rolled again, and the person that won was number 16. It's a little bit difficult juggling between channels. So number 16 was Calendros, who's actually in the channel. So grats, Calendros. Thanks for joining in and tuning in from work on your mobile. I hope you don't get in trouble. But grats, I will get that key to you via forums as soon as this podcast is done. I'm getting my words twisted here. Getting my words. But is there anything else over the last couple of weeks that you two guys have been wanting to discuss, or is there any other subject at this point in time since we last spoke on the podcast that you guys want to bring up? Yeah, throwing a curveball.
I'm mainly just excited for Mastery and want to see where that's going to go. You can't really see a lot about it right now. Even if you could, I can't say much about it right now. Pretty much, I'm also excited about the minions because you can kind of see where it's going, and if that's where it's going, I'm excited about that, and people should like that. That should be on akin to the way that Dimensions are. So I don't know, Kiwi, I know you're a big Dimension person, so if you like Dimensions, I think that you should love the way that the actual minion system is going to roll. I can't really say it, but I can say that it's pretty awesome.
Right. I just want, it'd be nice to have a minion build my dimensions for me. I know that's not going to happen, but it'd be nice. That would be awesome. But I just want to see more about fishing. Not going to lie about that. I always like fishing in games, so it'll be interesting to see what minions can do for fishing. As far as dimensions,
fishing.
Yeah, I love fishing.
I'm not even gonna lie. I totally forgot fishing was in the game. I haven't fished in about a year and a bit. Since that whole like fish ball fiasco went on. I remember I leveled up my fishing the legitimate way while that was going on, because fishing at the start of Storm Legion was super beneficial. You had to I think fishing was like one of the fastest ways to cap out your rep with certain factions, because you could only do like a certain amount of dailies and then you run out of dailies to do, so you'd have to fish to get rep. And I was like doing it the legit way, and other people weren't, and then there was a whole lot of drama then. But since then I haven't done any fishing, so I'm interested to see if they'll bring anything enticing back to fishing. That'll
Yeah,
certainly be
Oculus Rift
interesting.
that. Oculus Rift that fish, yeah.
Oh
You could do
God,
that.
fishing is boring enough, to be honest. Just having an
Come
Oculus
on,
Rift
a
on, I don't
3D
think would
fishing
make it.
pole? Are you serious?
Oh God,
That's
I
awesome.
still don't think it would be that good. But yeah, I mean, fishing isn't too bad. It's all right. Not my cup of tea though.
Now, we have drawn another one as Lillian in our chat. Lillian, number 10. Lillian from the forums, are you in the chat for a 3.0 alpha key? But to me, like the last couple of weeks has just been full on with the information. You guys are in Arcade as well, and you're also in other Rift games. So it's been, I mean, Tryon games. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. It's going to be a busy month, and then over the next month, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy.
Exactly. I'm in Arcade. I should be rolling with a guild called VOTF, who are basically assumed to be the top EU PvP guild by quite a significant amount. You know, they've previously dominated games such as Guild Wars 2, and they absolutely wrecked the PvP scene in WildStar. So I'm going to be their like streamer and YouTuber. Combined with Rift 3.0 coming out 3 weeks later, I'm probably going to die of exhaustion. So yeah, I really look forward to that. And also I'm launching my website tomorrow. So basically I have signed my own death threat or whatever.
Congrats,
I'm
man.
basically screwed. Too much to do. I thought I was going to have a lot more time.
Themselves, don't they? You know, you have to do that
Not my
much.
website. It requires a lot of maintenance. Like, essentially, what I have built is the ultimate resource for end game education in terms of class guides. So, done a lot of work on specs and builds and stuff, and been working with like 15 to 20 of Rift's top players and guide writers to put all that information together, and it's pretty much ready for launch. I mean, I'll probably title it as like an open beta, so it can be a bit waffly, and I can get a bit of feedback on how stuff is laid out. And then
So
maybe
you've been
do like
keeping
an
all
official
the mischief makers of Rift occupied, you mean?
Indeed, I have. Indeed, I have. I've been in several long sessions where I've been to like I've gone to like Heartbeat, you know, the amazing mage guy, or Garyon, or Mustful, or maybe Sedvik, or like one of the clerics like Anby, or just somebody else. So I've gone to them. I've said, look, I've done all this work on the cleric section, and then they've gone, oh, you've missed this, and this out, and you've got this wrong, and then we spent like 2 or 3 hours just correcting all of the crap. But there is a lot to do. I mean, one of the things I need a bit more input on in the website is PvP specs and builds and whatnot. So I need a bit more input on that, which I'm hoping to sort of get tomorrow with the release of the site. I'll chuck it right on the PvP forums, like, guys, teach me how to PvP, and we'll see what comes out of that.
Right, and number 2 is the next draw. We're getting through these slowly but surely. Number 2 is Never Ranking on the forums. If you're in this chat, let us know ASAP. I'm not going to say that properly. Neverine King on the forums. Number 2 has now has a chance to get back to us in a couple of minutes. Hopefully we can get this done within 8 minutes when this podcast finishes. Let us know if you're here, and we can get you a key to 3.0. I still have 2 left, so keeping on rolling, trying to do this as fairly as possible, or I will be having another one on my Twitter account after this as well. Whoops, disconnected because I was AFK. Forgot about that. I will be also doing one on my Twitter account as well, which is underneath my name here. Have you done your giveaway, Seatin? Or did you
I actually don't
giveaways?
have a giveaway. I'm going to probably do a giveaway with the launch of my site. What I mainly did, instead of doing a giveaway, because I thought, I can't have enough Rift YouTube subscribers, I actually gave it to people that I'm going to play and test with most of my keys. Like, I gave one to Slipman because him and me are buddies, and then just a few sort of old guildies that can help me like run dungeons, test the content, and then do that sort of research so that we have a general idea of how like dungeons work, so we can write some really kick-ass guides when it comes to launch. So that was kind of my my sort of logic behind it was use it to get more people in so I can gain a bit of knowledge and then use that knowledge to benefit the community instead of just picking a few random people who may just play it for about 5 minutes and then drop it. But I really like what you guys have done with your giveaway. Just like there are a lot of dedicated people on sort of that thread and also the subreddit. So those are really, really good ways to go about doing the giveaway. So,
it's been nice actually getting to know who's out there that we don't normally get to talk to. It's been nice catching up with people and seeing who's out there and what they've been doing in other games as well as Rift. And the shards are down, so this is going to be interesting doing these last draws. Here's what I'm going to do because I have to make this executive call because the shards are down and people might not be happy with this, but I'm going to give out 2 more keys to people that have been active in this chat this whole time, and that key goes to Elliotty and also Ariel. I will also give 1 more key because I see them there, and that is Zanduin246. So taking care of this because shards are down. So let me type that real quick into MMO chat. Executive call made because of technical issues. So these people are all getting a key. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and cheers. I will post them to you as soon as this. Geo Penguin also won a key. He's going to hear this in a second. He was the first drawer for the person that wasn't here for the live stream. So those 3 people, Elliotty, Ariel, and Zandoon46, we are overriding the system because shards are down. So grats everybody, and yeah, as soon as the stream's down, which will be very shortly now that that's happened. But as for other news that's going on in Rift, we do have a winner for a Toxic Hellbug from our first episode video that's up at SOAC Gaming. Get behind these guys, they could do a lot for gaming out there and run podcasts. Really good, nice to stop in there if you play any other games, from Guild Wars 2 to... what else? I saw Firefly, I think, might have pulled up there somewhere. I might be jumping the gun a little bit. I'd say there'd be interest in Destiny, so there's a lot of range. So the person that commented on our episode 1 was Dita Van Hoof, and I'm going to send that via YouTube for a Toxic Hellbug mount, and we will have another draw on the next video. This is just our way of saying thanks as we start our podcasts and hope to do them every second week and bring you more news, especially as 3.0 goes live. If you guys have any questions, please email soacgaming.podcast@socacgaming.com or let us know on forums. I'm actually going to separate the posts as well because someone's asked if we could separate each post for each week. That way it's easier to keep up with what we're doing. And if we have any giveaways and stuff like that, we can share it with you. So I will do that from now on and close the last post. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you to all the winners for getting behind the post. I will get them to you as soon as I'm down, and I'll also be on Twitter doing another draw. I'd like to get people in there as soon as possible. But that's about it, I think, guys. Do you have anything else you want to say before another 2 weeks?
Yeah, just one thing. I saw a few people in various chats just asking for the URL of the website. So the website, you guys are going to love this. This is ridiculously cheesy. The website is
so cheesy.
The website is manoflegends.com, based on the gimmicky tagline that I have that I found is very, very memorable, and considering that, you know, the aim is to be a cross-platform sort of guide website, that's what we decided to go for, you know, so it wasn't just saying like bread and butter standard like MMO, HUTs, guides, MMO Elite Squad, I don't know, just something that didn't involve MMO or... you know, that word essentially. So we wanted something that was a bit different. So yeah, if you want to check it out, the class guide section is the main section that has probably been refined the most and what we're focusing on at the moment. Everything else is a bit slapdash. So have a look at that. Feel free to send me any feedback on YouTube, email, whatever you get boys and girls would like. But yeah, I will be doing a bigger post about it tomorrow and probably making a load of late night edits tonight. But
And
anyway,
I do have a question from the forums. Actually, I forgot all about it, so sorry to Chaos Bringer. Just want to ask real quick, Warfront or dungeon charges not stacking anymore in the near future. What do you guys think of that? Do you...
Well, you want to take it?
Oh, I'll open that up to you. Sorry. Storm, go.
Well, that's gonna be hard on a lot of the people who just laze about and kind of forget about it. So you're kind of like gonna lose charges, and like I don't know about that. I don't know why they would come up with that. That was one of those things that we talked before this podcast about that. Like choices and things that you don't understand why it would come about. I'm like scratching my head, like where did they get feedback for that? I kind of don't like it. So that's just my opinion on it.
Do you have anything to add to that, Seatin?
I can kind of understand the need for it. I mean, everybody is kind of like the min-maxers who want to take advantage of the vials. This is kind of like the way they're playing the game at the moment. It's just hoarding everything, then popping like the vials, and then just, consuming it all in one go, and maybe progressing slightly faster than they should. I mean, I've been sort of using this method to, sort of gain prestige and rank up on my mage very, very fast. And in just sort of over 3 weeks, I've gone from rank about 50 to 90, which is, a pretty decent level of progression, taking into account that I've only used like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of those 160% vials. So I can kind of understand the need for like slowing people down. So yeah, I kind of get it. It kind of sucks a bit, but oh well.
So on that note, guys, thanks for tuning in and for putting up with my derpness. You're all awesome. And check out the video when it comes out. The audio will be done very soon by Mr. Bass. Thank you very much, the SOAC gaming guy and chat channel. Drop us any comments. We hope to get more professional, but maybe not. We'll see what happens. And thank you once again, BC, for dropping in and sharing your testing genius with us. But thank you, Seatin, Scion. I hope the rest of your Sunday's awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a wonderful Sunday. Well, not that there's much left of it now, at least in the UK. But take care, guys, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
See you later.